Hello everyone and welcome back to the Zesty Raisin. My name is Patrick and today we are going to be discussing something that I wasn't planning on discussing until a couple of months from now, but alas, life has thrown me a curveball and so we're going to talk about it now. Over the past week, my neck, the corners of my mouth, the corners of my nose, and the skin around my eyes have all been very itchy. This isn't a new issue, it's actually something that I've been dealing with since this past December. And it is actually one of the main reasons why it took me so long to create this YouTube channel in the first place. Because I didn't want to be that YouTuber with the big red circles around my eyes and mouth. But, as any good Zesty Raisin ought, I'm embracing the good and the bad and sharing my knowledge and insight with those around me, which just so happens to be you. So anyway, I saw a general practitioner and an allergist about my skin condition back in February, and they concluded that what I have is contact dermatitis. However, what we are not sure is what's causing it. It was never an issue until just a few months after I moved to Tampa. But even back when I lived in Orlando in 2016, it was never an issue then. With most allergies, people have issues with their sinuses, a runny nose, a congested nose, a scratchy throat, itchy eyeballs, etc. However, in my case, I don't have any of those things. It's purely just a skin condition. Before this condition even began, I had already eliminated gluten and dairy from my diet. Those are two very common triggers. And since this issue has become a thing, I've also tried eliminating nuts, cleaning chemicals that contain bleach, dust, and mold from my life as much as possible, and yet the issue still persists no matter what I try. So, before we get into this video, I just wanted to address the elephant in the room so that it doesn't hold up the progress of this channel any longer. Fortunately, thanks to Zyrtec, the redness isn't too bad today compared to what it was a couple days ago. However, there will likely be some days I won't be as lucky as I am today, and the rashes will likely be a lot more noticeable than they are today. So I just want to take a moment to thank you in advance for your empathy and for your understanding of this entire matter at hand. So anyway, getting into the video, yes! Skincare has been a huge part of my life since middle school. It started as a necessity and as a chore in middle school as I tried to prevent acne. As time progressed, towards the end of my time in college, it started gradually becoming more of a lifestyle choice and as a hobby rather than simply as a chore, as I began experimenting with new products and new brands from different countries just to see how my skin would react to different things. And heck, sometimes it's just fun to pamper oneself every now and then. With that being said, I have what's considered combination skin. So I have an oily T-zone and a dry basically everything else. So finding products that work for me can be extremely difficult because most of them are either too drying or they don't do enough. Hard to find that middle ground in that perfect product. Anywho, this video is for anyone who has any interest in skincare whatsoever. Whether you're coping with acne, combination skin, dry skin, oily skin, rosacea, or even if you have perfectly healthy skin and you just want a little extra glow or some clarity to your skin, this video is for you. There are 6 basics to every good skincare regimen. These 6 steps are to hydrate, avoid triggers, exfoliate, cleanse, moisturize, and use an SPF or a sunscreen. We're going to get into each of these more in depth, beginning now. First off, hydration. Drink lots of water or some sort of water substitute that's not too high in sugar. Keeping your body and your skin hydrated are imperative for healthy and supple looking skin. How much water is enough? How much water is too much water? Well, I have a few different 30-ounce tumblers in my apartment, and I typically fill them up anywhere between 5 and 10 times every single day. And yes, I drink them every time I fill them up. So that would be somewhere between 150 and 300 ounces of water consumed every single day by yours truly. Granted, keep in mind, I do live in hot, humid, and sunny Florida, where I'm sweating to some degree or another at some point every single month of the year, but I'm also not a super active person in terms of competitive sports compared to most other people. So say that you live in Florida or California and you're super athletic and into sports, competing all the time, you would probably want to drink even more water than what I consume on a daily basis. The second step is to avoid trigger foods and trigger drinks that mess with our hormones. Some of these most common triggers are alcohol, caffeine, dairy, added sugars, and processed foods. Our body's exterior reflects our body's interior to a certain extent. So if we're constantly feeding ourselves garbage, in the end our skin is going to look like garbage unless we were blessed and born with nearly perfect genetics, which I wasn't. Otherwise I wouldn't be making this video right now. The next step is to exfoliate. Exfoliants help to remove dead skin cells that clog pores and helps to give the skin a nice glow when used consistently. In the world of exfoliants, we have two different types primarily. We have our chemical exfoliants and we have our physical exfoliants. The chemical exfoliants usually come in the form of an oil, a cream, a mask, something that you leave on your face for anywhere between 2 and 20 minutes. And these things usually contain ingredients such as AHAs, BHAs, lactic acid, or glycolic acid, just to name a few. On the other end of the spectrum, we have our physical exfoliants, which usually come in the form of a scrub brush or a face wash or scrub that contains some microparticles that serve as an abrasive to our skin. That was a lot of fancy words. Physical exfoliants include the Clarisonic Face Brush, a silicone face scrubber, apricot scrubs, etc. If you decide to use a physical exfoliant, please use them very gently. Typically, I use exfoliants once every couple of nights, and I generally try to avoid using them during the day because they do tend to make my face look a bit red if I use them in the morning, regardless of how gentle I am. So again, it's all dependent on how your skin reacts, but usually I use them at night, not in the morning. Next step is to cleanse. Use a gentle cleanser that isn't too stripping or too abrasive. Do not use a cleanser that has physical exfoliants. We've already exfoliated, we don't need to exfoliate again. Depending on your circumstances, you should consider washing your face twice daily. I personally prefer to only wash my face in the shower, but most people are content with washing their face once in the shower and once in a sink. Some people don't shower every day, so therefore they only wash their face at the sink. No matter how you do it, make sure your water is not too hot. Just remember everyone's skin is different. And with that being said, I would never go as far as to quote unquote prescribe anyone a specific product. However, with that being said, two cleansers that have worked very well for me recently are CeraVe's Foaming Facial Cleanser and Purito's Snail All-in-One Cleanser. CeraVe can be purchased at pretty much any grocery store. Purito can only be purchased online. You can get it on Amazon. Next step is to moisturize. Use a moisturizer that allows your face to breathe. If your face feels extra oily, extra sticky after using a product, you're probably not using a good product for your skin. On the other end of the spectrum, if your face feels really dry, really stretched, or is flaking, then something you're using is probably not the correct product. Either your exfoliant is too stripping, your cleanser is too drying, or your moisturizer just simply ain't be moisturizing. Remember, skincare is all a matter of trial and error. I can give you ideas and facts all day long, but in the end, it all comes down to trial and error and seeing what works best for your skin. I typically recommend using a product for at least 3 weeks before determining whether a product works for me, and I suggest you doing the same. However, with that being said, if you do notice any drastic negative effects after using the product for 1 to 3 days, discontinue use immediately. Say if you have rashes, burning, blistering, stop using it right away. It's not going to do you any good. It's just going to literally cause your face to fall off, which is no good. The last and final step is to use an SPF or sunscreen. If you intend to be out in the sun for any more than 1 to 5 minutes that it takes you to walk from your house to your car or your car to your work or wherever you're going for the day, wear a sunscreen, please. Although the sun is essential for life to flourish, it is dangerous to our skin, And contrary to what some seem to think, contrary to what I used to think, it does not solve or fix acne in any way. But the sun can cause skin cancer. So wear your sunscreen and wear one that works well for your skin. Some of the sunscreens that I have used over the years that have generally worked very well for me, sticking with that Purito line, I've used Purito Centella Green Level SPF 50, Sunbum's SPF 30, Neutrogena's Ultra Sheer Dry Touch Sunscreen. All three of those have worked very well for me. The main things to look for in a sunscreen are finding an SPF that is high enough so that you're still not getting burnt when you're wearing said sunscreen, finding a sunscreen that doesn't cause any breakouts or other crazy skin irritations, and also finding a sunscreen that doesn't leave a white shadow or a white glow around your face when you're sweating and out in the sun. The three sunscreens that I've already mentioned typically do a very good job of those things for me, but again, everyone's skin is different. What soaks into my skin well might not necessarily soak into your skin quite as well. All right, so we got past the 6 basic steps. So what do we do after that? Once we get past the 6 basic steps, then we can get into our toners, our serums, acne spot treatments, retinol creams, face masks, eye creams, makeups. So many yummy things that can cost you so much money if you invest your time in all of them. But those things are not for this video. Personally, I do use toners, I use serums, acne spot treatments, eye creams, and face masks. And although all those things do help in fighting acne and lightening the dark circles under my eyes and just preserving the overall healthiness of my skin, they are not absolutely necessary the way that the previously 6 basics are necessary. In conclusion, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you were able to obtain some beneficial information. In case you were not able to tell, I was reading from a teleprompter this entire video up until this conclusion, so hopefully everything went smoothly from that front. I'm sorry if I was talking too fast. Maybe I'll slow down the teleprompter a little bit next time. Again, main thing, just keep in mind, skincare is not just about our topical treatments, it's not just about the oils and the creams and the cleansers, it's also about the insides as well, about what we eat, about what we drink, just keeping in mind that certain foods and certain drinks have different circumstances when it comes to our bodies and our skincare as a whole. If you have any questions or further suggestions, feel free to leave them in the comment section down below. If you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, please give it a thumbs up, give it a nice like, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel. I look forward to seeing you in future videos. And finally, stay zesty, my friends.